Okay, so here's a problem asked over email 6.6.17. They want us to simplify this. And what we want to do when we're simplifying is, and we're working with a complex fraction, we want to take a look at the denominators in the numerator and the denominator of the complex fraction. And we're going to identify the LCM for those. So if you notice, I have a denominator right there, 4. I have a z as a denominator, and then I have another 4 as a denominator down here. So if I identify the LCM between those three denominators, it would be 4z. You're taking a look at each factor as it occurs and how many times it occurs the most in any one denominator. So once you've identified your LCM, what you're going to do is you're actually going to take this whole thing and you're going to multiply top and bottom by the 4z. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to clear the complex fraction. It's not going to clear the fraction, but it'll clear the complex fraction. So I'm going to multiply the top by 4z and the bottom by 4z. And when I multiply by 4z over 4z, this is the equivalent of multiplying by 1. And that's the reason that I can do this. Okay. All right, so this is going to look like, I'm going to distribute this. So this is 4z is multiplying the 1/4. So that's taking 4z times this 1/4. And then I have 4z multiplying the 1 over z. That's right here, distributing it there. And then same thing in the bottom here, I'm going to take my 4z, and that's multiplying my 4 minus z over 4. Okay, and then what we want to do is we just want to simplify this. So I see here that 4's cancel, and I have z times 1, which is z. And then here z's cancel, and I've got a negative 4 times 1, so that's negative 4. In the bottom here, 4's cancel, and I have z times 4 minus z. Now this might have been what your question was about. I wasn't really sure what your question was, but this right here, when I take a look at this factor in the top, z minus 4, and this factor in the bottom, 4 minus z, they're actually the same except they're different by a negative. So you can see z is positive here and it's negative here, and 4 is negative here and it's positive there. So they're exactly opposite in sign. So what I can do is I can actually factor out a negative 1 from either place, really. So what I'm going to do is in the top, I'm going to just first of all rewrite this as negative 4 plus z. Now all I've done is I've rearranged the order, and I've written the negative 4 first and the z second, the positive z second. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to factor out a negative 1 out of the top. So when I pull out negative 1, I'm actually going to be left with 4 minus z. And the reason for doing that is because if I pull out the negative 1, you can see now that I have a common factor in the top and the bottom that can cancel. And so when I pull out the negative 1, I guess I didn't explain this, but when I pull out the negative 1, it changes the signs of everything on the inside, because if I were to go and distribute this back, negative 1 times what would give me negative 4, this would need to be positive in order for that to happen. So you can see here if I multiplied it out, it would give me back what I started with. Okay, so pull out that negative 1 and it changes the signs of everything on the inside, and then I can see here that my 4 minus z's are going to cancel, and I'm left with negative 1 over z, and that would be our solution right there.